She chose her male best friend over me when I was sick. So I just said, I understand. I'm Joel and I've been with my fiancée Megan for almost 4 years. We got engaged 8 months ago. I work as an operations engineer at a chemical plant, rotating shifts, decent pay, nothing glamorous but stable. Grew up poor, put myself through community college then state school, worked my way up. I own my house outright, no debt except my truck payment. Megan does freelance social media marketing and is trying to build herself as a content creator. She's got like 2,000 Instagram followers. She moved into my place about a year ago and doesn't pay rent or utilities. We agreed she'd focus on building her brand while I covered the bills. I was fine with this because I loved her and believed in supporting your partner's dreams. Here's where it gets complicated. Megan has this male best friend, Arlo. He's a guitar player who does gigs around town and teaches personal training part-time. Nice enough guy when I've met him, but his income is basically non-existent. He and Megan have been friends since college. I'm not the jealous type. I have a close female friend myself, Joanna, who I've known for over 10 years. She's got her own boyfriend and we have very clear boundaries. We grab coffee, talk about work stuff, completely platonic. So I get that opposite-sex friendships exist, but Arlo is different. He's at our house constantly. They go to coffee shops to brainstorm content ideas. They FaceTime late at night. They go to concerts together, usually on my dime since Megan uses my credit card. I've tried to be cool about it because I didn't want to be that controlling guy, but I finally sat her down about 3 months ago and said, Look, I'm not asking you to stop being friends with Arlo, but when I'm sick or have something important, I need to know that I'd be your priority. That's what partners do. She agreed, said I was being totally reasonable, promised it wouldn't be an issue. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago. I came down with brutal food poisoning or stomach flu, honestly not sure which. I'm talking fever of 103, couldn't keep anything down, sweating through my sheets. I called out of work, which I never do. My doctor's office told me to monitor it closely, and if I couldn't keep fluids down, I'd need to go to urgent care for IV fluids. That same night, Megan had tickets to this outdoor music festival with Arlo. VIP tickets I'd paid for weeks earlier as an early birthday present for her. She'd bought a whole new outfit, been planning it for a month. Around 4 p.m. I was lying in bed feeling like death, and I told her, Hey, I really need you to stay home tonight. If this gets worse, I can't drive myself to urgent care. I'm barely making it to the bathroom. She looked at me and said, Arlo's been looking forward to this for a month. I can't just bail on him last minute. You're an adult, it's just a stomach bug, you'll be fine tomorrow. I just looked at her and said, I understand. I didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't make a scene, I just understood something in that moment. She left at 5:30, posted Instagram stories of her and Arlo dancing, jumping around, having the time of their lives. Meanwhile, I was alone in our house, temperature climbing to 104, finally having to call an Uber to take me to urgent care at 9 p.m. because I was getting dangerously dehydrated. I sat in that waiting room for 2 hours, got pumped full of IV fluids, and came home around 1 a.m. to an empty house. She rolled in at 2:30, smelling like beer and cigarettes, and crashed immediately. The next morning she was all apologies. I'm so sorry, babe, I know that was shitty of me, but it was just one time and Arlo would have been so disappointed. I'll make it up to you, I promise. I said it's okay and went to make coffee. But here's the thing, Reddit, I've been completely different since that night. Not angry, not yelling or fighting, just distant, going through the motions. I realized something pretty clearly. When push came to shove, when I actually needed her, she chose Arlo. I told Joanna about this over coffee yesterday. She looked at me and said, Joel, if my boyfriend did that to me, we'd be done. Like, immediately done. You at least need to tell her how fucked up that was. But I'm not planning to tell her anything. I'm just waiting. Because something tells me an opportunity is going to come up soon where Megan needs me, and I'm going to show her exactly what her priority system feels like from the other side. Am I wrong for planning this? Part of me thinks I should just end it now, but another part of me thinks she needs to feel what she made me feel. Edit. For everyone asking, yes, I'm fine now health-wise. It was severe dehydration from the stomach bug. Needed 2 bags of saline and anti-nausea meds. And no, Arlo doesn't have feelings for Megan, I don't think so. He's just one of those guys who likes having female attention and free stuff. Update 1. Quick context on what's been happening since my original post. After the concert incident, Megan has been in full make-it-up-to-you mode. Extra affectionate cooking dinner, which she never does, offering massages, the whole performance. I've been polite, responsive enough that she doesn't think anything's seriously wrong, but I've definitely pulled back emotionally. She keeps asking, "Are you mad at me?" And I keep saying, "No, I'm just tired from work." Which is partially true. We've been short-staffed and I've been pulling doubles. Anyway, here's what went down. Last Friday, Megan had this huge pitch meeting scheduled for Monday morning with a potential client, some organic skincare brand that found her on Instagram. If she landed this account, it would be her first real paying client in months. Like actual money, not just free products. She'd been prepping for a week, had her whole presentation ready, really stressed about it. Friday evening around 8 p.m., she texted me in a panic. Her car broke down on the highway about 30 minutes from our house. It was pouring rain, cold as hell, and she was freaking out. She called me. "Joel, oh my God, I'm stuck on Route 9 and my car just died. It won't start. I need you to come get me and we need to figure out how to get my car towed tonight because I need it for Monday's meeting. Please, I'm scared and cold, and now, here's the thing. I was literally about to walk out the door. Joanna and I had plans to check out this new craft brewery that just opened downtown. We'd made these plans a week ago, specifically because she'd been having a rough time lately. Her dad was just diagnosed with early-stage Parkinson's, and she needed a friend to vent to. We were going to grab dinner, try some flights, just decompress. I could have canceled. I could have easily gone and picked up Megan, dealt with the tow truck, spent the evening handling her car crisis. But I didn't. I said, "I understand this is stressful, but Joanna's been looking forward to tonight all week. I can't let her down at the last minute. You're an adult, just call roadside assistance. Get an Uber home, you'll figure it out." There was this long silence on the phone. Then she said, Are you seriously doing this to me right now? My career is on the line here," I replied. "It's just a car breakdown, Megan. You'll be fine. These things happen. Handle it like an adult." Basically word for word what she said to me when I was running a 104 fever. "Joel, are you doing this to get back at me? I'm just treating you exactly how you showed me partners treat each other when something comes up." I hung up and went to meet Joanna. The brewery thing was actually great. Joanna could tell something was up, so eventually I told her everything. She just shook her head. "I get why you did it, but man, this is going to explode when you get home." She wasn't wrong. I got back around 11:30 p.m. Megan was home, sitting on the couch in the dark. Her car was still on the highway. She'd had to leave it there and would deal with it Saturday. She'd taken an Uber home that cost like $70. She immediately started in, "How could you do that to me? To your fiancé? I had a huge meeting Monday and you just abandoned me on the side of the road." I sat down calmly and said, "How could you leave me alone when I had a 104-degree fever and needed someone to take me to urgent care? To your fiancé? That's different. You were just sick. People get sick all the time." My entire career opportunity, I was literally dehydrated to the point of needing IV fluids, Megan. I could barely stand. You chose Arlo and a concert. I chose Joanna and plans we'd made. What's different? She started crying. Saying I was cruel, that I did this on purpose to hurt her, that I'm supposed to love her. I let her finish, then said, "You're right. I did do it on purpose, so you'd understand how it feels. For 4 years, you've been my priority. I've canceled plans, rearranged my schedule, spent my money, all to support you and make you happy. And the one time I genuinely needed you, you picked Arlo. So yeah, I wanted you to feel that." The argument went on for hours. She tried every angle, that I'm holding a grudge, that she apologized, that 2 wrongs don't make a right, all of it. Finally, around 2 a.m., I said something I've been thinking for weeks. If you need a man who will always put your male best friend's feelings ahead of his own needs, I'm not that guy. And honestly, starting right now, I'm going to prepare for a life without you in it." She went quiet, asked what I meant. I told her, "I'm opening my own bank account. You're coming off my credit cards. I'm not paying for your content creation expenses anymore or your fancy gym membership or anything else. We're going back to being roommates who split bills. If you want to be engaged to me, you're going to have to show me that I matter more than Arlo. Otherwise, we're done." She spent the rest of the weekend either crying or yelling, called me manipulative, said I was punishing her for one mistake. On Sunday, she went to Arlo to vent about our fight. Guess what he said? She told me this herself, crying. Arlo said, "Maybe you have a point." He said he didn't want to be the reason we're fighting and maybe I should have stayed home that night. Even Arlo thinks she was wrong, but here's the part that really drove everything home for Megan. Sunday afternoon, she had a minor crisis. Her laptop completely died, wouldn't turn on, nothing. This is her work laptop with all her client files, her portfolio, everything. She was panicking because she had to rebuild her entire pitch presentation and needed to borrow a computer ASAP. She called Arlo. He's got a nice gaming setup and she'd borrowed his equipment before for editing photos and videos. "Hey, my laptop died and I'm freaking out. Can I come over and use your computer to rebuild my presentation?" Arlo's response: "Ah man, that sucks, but my girlfriend's coming over in like 20 minutes and we have dinner reservations. She's not really comfortable with me having female friends over. Can you maybe try the library or ask Joel?" Megan apparently pushed back. "This is an emergency, Arlo. I've been there for you so many times. I know, but babe, I can't. My relationship has to come first now. I'm sure you understand." She told me this while crying on Sunday night. The irony was not lost on me. Here was Megan, desperately needing her best friend, who she'd prioritized over her own fiancé, and he was telling her that his new girlfriend's feelings were more important than helping her in a crisis. As for the pitch meeting, she missed it. Spent all weekend too stressed about the car situation and our fight to rebuild her pitch presentation properly. She tried to reschedule the pitch, but the client moved on to someone else. We're still living together, but it's tense as hell. She's been staying in the guest room. I've been working extra shifts to avoid being home. I don't know where this is going, but something's got to give soon. Update 2. After my last post, Megan and I were basically living as cold roommates. She kept oscillating between being apologetic and being angry at me for ruining her career opportunity by not helping with her car. The financial separation hit her hard. Like, really hard. I'd been covering so much more than I realized: her car insurance, her phone bill, her health insurance through my work, groceries, utilities, plus all her business expenses for her Instagram content. When I cut her off my accounts and cards, she suddenly had to look at her actual income versus expenses. Turns out building a personal brand on Instagram with 2,000 followers doesn't pay the bills. Who knew? She started having to take on random freelance gigs just to cover her half of the utilities. Had to cancel her bougie gym membership. Stopped going to expensive coffee shops for content. It was like watching reality hit her in real time. Meanwhile, the Arlo situation completely fell apart on its own. He basically told Megan that his relationship was getting serious, so he needed to create boundaries with his female friends. Translation: now that he had a girlfriend who actually wanted him, he didn't need Megan's attention anymore. She was crushed. Kept saying things like, "I thought we were best friends, and he was supposed to be there for me." I didn't say anything, but I thought, yeah, that's how I felt when you ditched me for him. About a week after my last update, we finally had the talk, the real one. I got home from a double shift around 10 p.m. and she was waiting up in the living room. She started with, "We need to talk about where this is going." I sat down and just let her speak. She said she'd been doing a lot of thinking, that maybe she had taken me for granted, that she didn't realize how much she'd prioritized Arlo over me until I did the same thing back to her with Joanna. That losing the client opportunity made her see how much my support had been propping up her entire life. I waited for the but, because there's always a but. "But I think what you did was cruel. You deliberately left me stranded to prove a point. That's not what people who love each other do." I leaned back and said, "You're right, it was deliberate. And you know what? It was a lesson, because apparently explaining how much you hurt me with words wasn't enough. You needed to experience it. So you admit you were trying to hurt me." "No, I was trying to make you understand. There's a difference." We went back and forth like this for a while. Then I said something I've been thinking about for weeks. "Megan, you always talk about how family and partnership should be the top priority in life. But when it came down to it, your priority was Arlo, not the man you were planning to marry. The night I had a fever of 103 and was puking my guts out, you chose a concert. We'd had those tickets for a month, and Joanna and I had plans for a week. And before that night, how many times had I canceled on Joanna or rearranged my schedule for you?" "Dozens, maybe hundreds. What's your number with me versus Arlo?" She started crying. "I know I messed up that night, Joel, I know it, but you deliberately made me feel the same pain just to get even." "No, I did it so you'd understand, because you clearly didn't from just me telling you." She wiped her eyes. "So what now? You've made your point. Where does that leave us?" I took off my engagement ring and set it on the coffee table between us. "I've been thinking about this a lot. This ring represents a promise that we'd prioritize each other, build a life together, be there for each other. But what we have isn't a partnership. It's a one-sided contract where I provide everything and you pursue your dreams on my dime while keeping another man as your emotional priority. That's not fair." "It's completely fair. Look at our life, Megan. Really look at it. I pay for everything. I support your content career that makes no money. I'm cool with you having a male best friend who you spend more emotional energy on than me. And the one time I needed you, genuinely needed you, you weren't there. That's not a fiancé. That's a dependent with benefits." The silence after that was heavy. Eventually she asked, "Do you even love me anymore?" Honestly, I've been asking myself that for weeks, and I realized the answer. I love who I thought you were, but I don't respect who you actually are, and I can't marry someone I don't respect. That was basically the end of it. We agreed she'd move out by the end of the month. My house, my name on everything, so there wasn't much to fight about legally. She called her sister, who lives 2 states over, and arranged to crash on her couch until she figured things out. Started packing the next day. The Arlo thing kept eating at her, though. A couple days after our big talk, she showed me a text thread where she'd confronted him about basically ghosting her after getting a girlfriend. His response was something like, "I mean, yeah, boundaries are important. My girlfriend isn't comfortable with me being that close with other women," she said to me. "He was my best friend for years and he just dropped me." I almost felt bad for her in that moment. Almost. But then I remembered sitting alone in an urgent care waiting room at 11 p.m. while she danced with that same guy. So I just said, "Yeah, it sucks when someone you counted on shows you where you actually rank, doesn't it?" She moved out last weekend. Took her stuff, left her key on the counter, and that was that. Her sister came to help with the drive. We didn't hug goodbye or anything, just a quiet take care of yourself from both of us. The house feels different now. Quieter, but honestly, it's not a sad quiet, it's more like peaceful, like I can finally breathe without walking on eggshells or wondering if I'm going to come second to her best friend again. Been hanging out with Joanna normally again without feeling guilty. She's been great through all this, just listening when I need to talk. Some people might think what I did was petty or wrong. Maybe it was, but I needed Megan to understand what she'd done to me, and clearly words weren't going to cut it. She had to feel it herself. And you know what? I think she finally does understand. She sent me a long text 2 days ago. Said living with her sister and having to get a full-time retail job to cover her bills has given her perspective on how much I was carrying. She gets it now. But it's too late. Some things, once broken, can't be fixed. And I'm okay with that. Final update. Hey Reddit. It's been almost a year since everything went down with Megan, and I figured I owed you all a final update since so many of you followed this story and gave advice. Life has been really good, actually. About 5 months ago, I started seeing someone new. Her name's Grace, and she's probably the most self-sufficient person I've ever dated. She owns her own condo, has her own friend group, pays for her own stuff, and doesn't need me to fund her lifestyle or validate her every decision. We split dates evenly. She's got her life together and I've got mine, and we just enjoy each other's company without all the drama. She's also totally cool with Joanna. They've met a few times and get along fine. No jealousy, no insecurity, just two adults being adults about opposite-sex friendships. It's refreshing. Joanna's dad is doing okay with the Parkinson's, by the way. She's been dealing with it well, and I'm glad I was there for her that night instead of dealing with Megan's car. Her dad needed her and she needed a friend. As for Megan, I hadn't heard from her in months until about 3 weeks ago. She sent me an email, not a text, an actual email. It was long, like really long. I'll summarize the key points. She's been working full-time at a marketing firm now. Gave up the content creator dream. Living with a roommate in a cheaper city near her sister. Single. Arlo completely ghosted her after his girlfriend made him cut contact, and she hasn't talked to him in over 8 months. The main purpose of the email was to apologize, properly this time. She said living without my financial and emotional support made her realize how much she'd been taking advantage of me. Here's the part that got me. I understand now why you left me stranded that night with my car. At the time, I thought you were being cruel. But after Arlo abandoned me the second it became inconvenient for him, I realized I'd done the exact same thing to you, except way worse because you were actually sick. You weren't being cruel. You were showing me what I'd shown you, that I was willing to leave you when you needed me. I get it now. I wish you'd just broken up with me instead of making me feel that pain, but I also know I wouldn't have learned the lesson otherwise. The email ended with her saying she doesn't expect us to get back together or even be friends, but she wanted me to know that she's different now, that she learned from how badly she messed up, and that whoever I end up with is lucky to have me. I sat with that email for a couple days before responding. Finally, I wrote back, "Megan, I appreciate you reaching out and being honest about everything. I'm glad you understand now why I did what I did. I don't resent you anymore. That anger's gone, but I also don't want to revisit what we had. You taught me an important lesson too. When someone shows you where you rank in their priorities, believe them. You showed me I ranked below Arlo and I believed it. I hope you've learned to prioritize differently in your next relationship. I'm doing well. I'm with someone who values me and that's all I needed. I hope you find the same. Take care of yourself." That was 2 weeks ago. She responded with a simple "Thank you for everything, Joel. I really do wish you happiness." And that was that. Clean closure, no drama, no begging to try again. Just two people acknowledging what happened and moving forward. These days, when Grace has had a rough day teaching, I bring her favorite takeout without being asked. When I'm dealing with a stressful shift at the plant, she checks in on me. We show up for each other in small ways every day because that's what partners do. There's no scorekeeping, no competing for priority with someone's best friend, no wondering if I matter. I just know I do, and that's all I ever wanted. So yeah, that's the final chapter on the Megan saga. Thanks to everyone who commented, gave advice, called me out when I was being petty, and just generally followed along. Take care, Reddit. Edit. Since multiple people asked, I ran into Arlo once. He actually approached me to apologize for being part of the problem in my relationship. Said his new girlfriend made him realize he was using female friends for ego boosts and it wasn't healthy. He seemed genuinely remorseful. I appreciated the gesture but kept it brief. Water under the bridge at this point.